Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe. Thank you. This is Summer Adam with my latest review. Bleach chapter 676. It's Horn of Salvation. Like this chapter. If you guys read the previous chapters, I'm gonna make a note of it. Like right now, the last chapters we get to see the 2 chapters before we get to know that the arrival of Ichigo and Uryu's father. That's kind of reminiscent of how when Kakashi and Guy they showed up at the last minute to join the fight when it was B and Naruto versus Obito or Tobi versus the Tail Beast in Jinchuriki. That was an epic moment, and this is like a repeat of that. Then you got the last chapter, which was pretty one-sided. Yhwach literally beating the hell out of Ichigo using all of his immense power. Remember, Yhwach is basically a god among men. I mean, he has to be being the son of the Soul King. So it makes sense. Given the situation, like Ichigo would not fare too well against Yhwach. Then you have Otohime. Like we've seen this before. Otohime's always had a supporting role. But I wish a lot of fans wish that she does more, including me. I mean, she can't just be more than the simpering girl who always say Kurosaki-kun. Like she says, I will help you, but she can't fight alongside him. I mean, she's a main character. She at least deserves a little more than that. I mean, to just say Kurosaki-kun, she's more than just the character that just sits on the sideline. She can do more, a lot more. But one of my favorite moments is that Ichigo, he starts to change a little bit in the last chapter. We get to see that he's now changed. It's harnessing his powers completely. One of them is it seems that he's now be able to tap into his hollow form. And now we get into this chapter. Everything's changed. Like he gets the marks. His eyes turn black and with yellow pupils. We get the side of the horn. And Otohime recognizes his form. Remember when he first taught in this form when he first battled against Ukiura? Ukiura was a monster and a monster. He killed Ichigo straight up, blast right through his heart. And seeing Ichigo in this form again has Otohime a little worried. But he's like looked like he's in control. He's in conscious of himself. Like when he used holification, but this time it's not just a mask. It's his whole body. So he rallies Otohime. Calms her down, telling her not to worry. His sword even changed too. It's white, like the white nature of the hollow inside of him. It makes sense. Like he even gives a speech. Yhwach notices that you're not hollow power. This is such an interesting turn of events. Like now you see Ichigo and his powers. Like we always knew that Ichigo had this power within him, especially when you learn his backstory, how he obtained the hollow. That this was all because of Aizen. And how he gained this power. Like the thing is, his power remained in the power, even though it was in him, it was never completely stable and balanced. Like for example, remember when he first attacked, like he always had Zangetsu's power inside of him, but we also had the Hollow and his mother's power. Like for example, we get to know that Zangetsu's true nature was that of out of the Quincy side, and he always kept this side of him suppressed, but he kept but he made sure that Ichigo continued to progress, to watch over him, seeing how he became a man. If you guys remember that, and he stepped aside and revealed the true nature of his sword, allowing Ichigo to tap into his true powers and reforge them to fight along so he can defeat Yhwach, allowing him to accept all of his sides. Like for example, his Soul Reaper powers, his Quincy powers, and his Hollow nature. He was trying to find. He was not just doing this, for a reason. He wanted Ichigo to find the balance within himself, the balance of power. Remember, Ichigo, he always did lend his power to him. Sanketsu always did him. Well, his life was in there when he was on the verge of death. And that was always the Hollow, because the Hollow didn't want to die either. So, and he wanted Ichigo's power. He let Ichigo know this way beforehand that he wasn't going to sit on the sidelines. If Ichigo was weak, then he's not worthy of the power. If he is weak, then he will lend you his power. Remember, they all have their own sets of pride. But then there's the Quincy power that's dormant in him from his mother's side. Right? So, remember, like, he never tapped into his Quincy's abilities. His abilities, the Quincy abilities were laying dormant within him. and Yhwach, knew that, but at the same time, Zagetsu kept it a secret. But he also allowed Ichigo, to mature and often use those abilities, like for example, the ability to like use the ability to stitch up wounds and heal, like Ranso Tengai. He used that ability. So and to use his Getsuga Tensho. Oh, now that Getsuga, is his power, but the black Getsuga Tensho was his Hollow's power. Now he's meant to combine that with all his powers before, and we don't even know what his Bankai looks like. Anyway, the chapter progresses. Like the whole chapter itself, interesting. Seeing Ichigo now that he's found the balance within himself. He's ready to use the hollow power. I can't wait to see how he does. And he's changed so much. Like for example, he moves so fast that Otohibe could even see his movements. I don't know. I remember one time Okioda said that he moved so fast that he didn't use flash step. He used Sonido. That was the hollow style of flash step. Maybe it's Sonido and mix of Kyuda and Kyoraku, the Quincy flash step, and also with flash steps. So he combined all those moves into one. If he combined all those fundamental forces within himself, that means there could literally be no limit to his power. And seeing how Yhwach noticed that he has changed a little bit, he even starts to fight seriously, and we get to see him like seriously. Like he takes out his sword, we get to see his eyes, his real eyes for a bit. How Ichigo deadass goes for his hand, his sword hand, to try to make sure he doesn't pull it out. Like we've seen how Ichigo fell victim to his sword before, but now that he has it seems that Yhwach now has the right to be worried. Remember, we know that there's a weakness to the Hollow. The reason why they went after Wakamundo, the Stern Ridders, because Hollow powers are different from Soul Reapers, so they have a weakness to that. Seeing this now, seeing that there's a change now, it's definitely something you gotta notice. This is definitely something you gotta admit. Seeing the way and Yhwach, he notices that Ichigo's growing stronger. And he's gonna do all he can to fight him one on one. But Ichigo, he's more confident now that he's unleashed his hollow side. Remember, the hollow nature is more vicious and violent. So you could say that Ichigo has a major confidence boost. Even though he's still himself, he remained conscious. So there's not a chance that so right now the hollow hasn't taken over him completely, but it just might. Remember, when he's on the verge of death, that's when the hollow's power truly emerges. That's where the hollow's power truly comes out at the most. Seeing this power overall, it's definitely, something you gotta consider. And so, uh, yeah, I like this a lot because we get to see Ichigo. He's demonstrating his power. But one of the things I got like the most was at the end, when Ichigo unleashes his Getsuga Tensho and Yhwach tries to counter, he mixes it with Gran Rei Seto. That's a high level technique that used by the Espada. You guys remember the Iranka arc when Ichigo and Green Jiao first had their power? He demonstrated the Gran Rei Seto. And it was power before, but this time it's very different. Like he said, if you guys remember the story, the Gran Rei Seto is performed by those by the Espada. However, Aizen forbid it those of level 4 and higher to perform their own settle because their powers are so powerful they can destroy Las Noches. Anyway, this was an interesting, chapter. Overall I liked it. Because Ichigo gets to see his new powers, and remember, he hasn't even gone full Bankai yet. I can't wait to see him go full force. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you hate it? This is a new chapter. And overall, I did like the chapter. Overall, it was definitely very good. And I liked it. Thank you. Give me your opinion. Subscribe. Give me your opinion on this episode. What do you think? This is someone else. Give me a latest review on Bleach chapter 676. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for the subscribe. Thank you. Bye.